Okay, so I have taken the time and just assembled this side nacelle first, and that's purely just so I see how it went together, and I'm pleased to say that it went together really well. If we look at this engine here, then push in the spindle, the propeller spindle, down the center of the engine. It says don't glue it. I have just glued it because I don't really care for my propellers turning. That locates on the engine very squarely, and then the cowling goes over it, and the fit again is fantastic. It really is. I'm really impressed with this kit. And then we can see how much of the engine detail we're going to see, and to be fair, you're going to see a little bit of it. So it isn't actually that unfeasible for doing the ignition wiring. As I said, I'm building this one out of the box, so I shan't do the ignition wiring for this build, but if I build the kit again to do the British version, I probably will go to town and do the engine wiring, the ignition wiring. So anyway, there's the engine. I'll just get the sprue. Excuse my squeaky chair, I'm going to have to do something with this. Just going to take the propeller spindle. There it is. There's two ends to it. You've got a square end here and a slightly smaller rounded end. Rounded end goes through the engine and seats the propeller. Just clean off the burr so it fits nicely in the rear of the engine. You can see it just pops in, and it's a nice positive fit. And we just get the glue and drop it in. Capillary action will take that around and seize that up nicely. So, engine done very quickly. Right, moving on to the cowling. Again, we've got some really nice locating pins and receiving holes. I've just used the quick set on this purely because it works so well. And it's not really a structural part, so it doesn't need a really heavy glue joint. It just needs to be bonded together. So just hold it in place, let the glue saturate the joint, and then the plastic will bond. As I said, I keep saying this plastic is reacting so well to the quick setting glue. And then you see the fit of the front engine cowling is very good. There's a little bit of wiggle room. Just line it up, gently hold it. When you're satisfied with the line up, hold it in place and run the glue down. The thing to remember with this is that this is a natural pan line, so we want to leave it, we want to retain it. All we need to do is just run the glue so it bonds. And when we're happy with it, walk away. Let's blow that off. That's the other beauty with a quick set, is that if you do spill any, just give it a blow. It evaporates so quickly. It doesn't leave any marks on the plastic. So there we go, and that's the engine nacelle together. So all I've really got to do now is look at the undercarriage bay doors, not the undercarriage bay doors, sorry, the bomb bay doors and the rear upper turret, the dorsal turret, and I think I can start looking at paint. So I'm just going to assemble these off camera because it won't take 2 minutes, and then I'll come back and show you how they've gone together before we seriously start to look at organising for paint for this aircraft. So see you in a moment. Okay, so we are back, and as you can see, I have pressed on a little bit. I haven't done too much, but what I have done is I have taken the time to put a primer down. So I've used, for a primer, just this time grabbed a dark grey, so we've got XF24. We've painted the instrument panel, if we can get it to focus. There we go, we've got the instant panel. We have got the cockpit. So still wanted to flip over, and it's just caught in a couple of self-closing clamps. And then we've obviously got the upper mid turret, and then we've started the painting on the engines. So that is just primed XF24. Get that to focus. And then used X11 chrome, just brush painted on. It's come a nice silver colour. And I've put a little bit of cockpit green, interior green. That's US interior green on the insides of the cowling, and I'm using Mr. Accurus Hobby Colour interior green. It says there US Army and Navy Aircraft World War II. So semi-gloss, so it'll be fine for putting down washers on top of it when it's cured. So let's move these parts to the side. Taking the time, we've primed things like the geared bay doors, bomb bay doors and actuators, and we can do the interior green coat on all of those parts. Test fitted the model together as we saw in the last video. We have paint primed the wheel wells. The underslung tanks just come off. Friction fit, and they're a very, very good friction fit, I have to say. So we've got both wheel wells primed, and then in order to move this build along, we have the interior to paint. Now I've taken the time to glue the bomb bay in that half. I've also glued in the wing strut. It fits perfectly. It just makes it easier for painting. If you notice here, there's a bit of a coarse finish because I spilt some thinners on it. I brush painted over it. You're never going to see that anyway. So for painting, I hear you ask, what are you going to paint with? Well, what I'm going to paint with is this beautiful airbrush from Gaahleri. So this is the Gaahleri Premium Mobius 0.2 airbrush, double action airbrush with a micro air control valve here. I've been using this brush for a little while now, just on the quiet. I haven't really made any great announcements on the channel. I spent a lot of time talking about we've got videos up for the Gaahleri Ace GHAC 98D, and then also the, I get it out the holder, the Gaahleri GHAD 68 Advanced. So we've used those airbrushes. That was painting the 48th scale Tamiya Sky Raiders. But for this build, I'm exclusively using these two Mobius airbrushes from Gaahleri. So we've got the 0.3 and we've got the 0.2. Both very, very good airbrushes. Very, very good airbrushes. I know you've seen a lot of it on YouTube, and a lot of creators are using them. My own experience, and I can only speak from my own experience, build quality is top notch, functionality is fantastic, and durability appears to be very, very good for what I've used them for so far. So I'm really, really, really happy with them. Gaahleri are new to the market, and they've been pushing. They've been doing what any new company would do. They have been pushing marketing very, very hard, but they are marketing a product that is worth marketing hard. It's a very, very good product for modelers, so I can wholeheartedly recommend them. And for anyone that is interested, there is an affiliate link in the link to this video. So if you want to go just have a look, you can see the pricing structure. You order direct from Gaahleri, so you're not going through a retailer. Their shipping is very, very quick, and they're very, very well packed, and you get a no quibbles replacement guarantee from Gaahleri if you have any problems. So worth looking at. Enough of that, let's get painting. So Loaded up the airbrush. I have pre-thinned this paint, so it is just neat from the pot. And I've thinned it with Tamiya X28. It seems to work quite well. And we want to just get the paint flowing. There's a bit of thinners already in that. That's making the paint a little watery, so I'm just going to blow that through. So we can get the proper paint. We'll paint the backside first. And there we go. You can hear that nice whistling sound. That's how I describe it. And that lays down a beautiful, even, smooth coat of paint. So we need to come in all sides, all angles. This does have a glass nose, so it is worth painting the underside. Just so if you're looking through, you're going to see green. There we go. I'm going to paint under the seats. Now if you want, you can paint the highlight of the panel. Like that. Just to kind of get a bit of tonal variation, give it a dust over. To be fair, I'm not sure how much of this is going to be seen from above or through the glazing. So I'm just going to go for that one all over even coat. So get the control columns. Some of this will have to be brush painted. Again, things like leather brown for the seats, black for any Formica areas, but the main thing is to get a good solid coat on. There's no grey showing, nice green coverage, so we'll do that. We have got, this is actually the interior of the roof gun. Again, you're probably not going to see this, but it's no harm in painting it just in case. And on the inside too, because you will actually see some of this, I think, through the glazing. So let's just do it once, do it right, and then it's done. Right, the instrument panel. The instrument panel itself is going to be black where the instrument clusters are, flight instruments, but the lower of the central column and the pedals is green. So with that in mind, we can just actually lay down green on everything. We're going to brush paint black where necessary, and that will cover the green very, very easily. You can either use Tamiya black or you can use any black that you care to use. Main thing is to get pedal assemblies and the central column assembly painted nice and green. Right, turret. Again, we're just going to dust this over. I don't think I really want to do any major weathering on this particular kit. Just want to get that nice solid colour in. Make sure to go on the underside so we don't leave any unpainted areas. Nose. We do need to paint the inside of the nose. We will see it through the glazing on the front. Doesn't have to be anything special. It does need to be done. We also need to paint this area here where the glazing glues onto it, because you will potentially see through the glazing and you want to see the interior green through the glass so it looks like it's a solid piece of perspex. Right, engine nacelles I have brush painted, but I'm going to give them a quick dusting with the airbrush just to tidy them up. Brush paint was a bit streaky. Right, wheel wells. Sorry, knocking the camera. Wheel wells. So, again, nice all over colour. Move the part to make it easier to paint. There we go. Now if that was matte black as a base primer, you did a 90-degree paint to the surface, you may be able to achieve some sort of enhanced shadowing. Dark grey, it will be there, but it won't be as prominent as if it was black, but it's okay. We're going to put some washes in here just to bring this out, and we'll also do a little bit of dry brushing with Tamiya X4, if I think it's right, which is their chromate green yellow, which actually works really well with this shade of interior green to work as a highlight on areas that have maybe had a bump or a scratch. Right, want to do the Bombay again. Just start from the top and work down. Nice even coats, don't flood it. Do not flood it because it'll just end up ruining it. Let the airbrush do the work. Bearing in mind we are going to do some dry brushing. If you wanted to do some highlighting, you can stick to specific areas just to give it that blotchy look. How much of it you're going to see? Don't know. Front Bombay. And make sure you get all the angles in so you don't leave anything with grey on it. Right, now this is the interesting bit. We've got windows on the side, so we do need to paint the whole fuselage side because you will see through. It might be a little dark, but it's worth doing just to avoid, and especially here on the front of the Bombay, you can see that there. You want to paint, get further back there, you want to paint this piece here, just in case we see it looking through that nose glazing. Right, so you've seen what I'm doing. There's no point in teaching you guys to suck eggs. I'm going to finish painting the interior green, and then we're going to come back and do some detail painting.